brief, tell us about yourself and the business you represent to compete in the space you wanted. But we are really grateful to have you here, Sammy, and what you do in the business. Sammy, please, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, no, my name is Sammy Mok. I'm a ESD funding in Kulani Growth. So basically, we assist small businesses to access funding in South Africa. And basically, we also help big businesses to achieve their B scorecard by assisting small businesses. Yeah. So basically what I'm a funding specialist. What I do is I assist small businesses and medium-sized businesses to access funding in terms of preparing their business plans, letters of intent, and ensuring that they meet all the requirements before they access the funding.
Wow, thank you so much, Sammy Mok. And I believe that those who are not here or who are not here as yet are missing out a lot, because I know we always have those kind of questions that require somebody like you to assist, because funding is one of the things that many of our fellow small and medium enterprise business owners do complain and raise concern to say we don't have access to funding, and that's why we are not able to achieve so many things in business. And we feel that sometimes the requirements comes in a form of a red tape, and you just cannot jump to the next to the other side. We said, I mean, I think we really have amazing, interesting panelists today, tonight, and I know that we're going to have a great time. So now I want to go back to Sammy. For the sake of time, I know that time is not totally on our side, and we've had disruptions and so forth, but we are not moved by that. And want to come back to Sammy. Sammy, Kulani Growth. Kulani Growth. I think Sammy is with us. Sammy, are you here?
Yes.
Sammy, are you here? I think somebody else is trying to do something. Is it you?
Yes, I'm
ready?
with us.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's you.
Yes, I'm here.
Ready. Wonderful. Now,
I'm here.
Now, I can see already on the slide, and that's where I wanted you to talk about Kulani growth. Kulani means growth, isn't it? It means grow. Now, you have answered. You have answered by what I'm seeing here. I think you are ready to answer me. Take us through this part, because our people want funding for their business to do well. What does your entity offers to answer this part of the question? Because you know, I believe better than myself that many of our people are disadvantaged for lack of funding. Sometimes, let's say, for example, like the other time we were talking about, these people, our people are given purchase order. They don't have funding. You know, it's a different thing to say somebody approaches you and say, you know, hey, we want funding because we want to build this over 5 years. No, let's be practical. Somebody goes, is given an opportunity to present or to respond to a RFQ, a request for quotation. That person gets a letter, an award letter, and a purchase order. They don't know where to go. I will talk about your growth part. I will talk about, you know, we will ask you also to talk about a little bit about, you know, how your business assists people when they want to grow their business. But this is part of growth. Somebody has nothing, and he started and he quoted quite well, and he knows his supplier is giving him these items for R1 million, and he has quoted 1.3 million. And he has an opportunity to can make the 300,000, but he doesn't know where to go. And I know after you have answered this, then I will tell you, I will ask you then to talk about the growth part, to say somebody has established something and want assistance. Please tell us how you can help our fellow South Africans. Over to you, Sam.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so much, and it's really an honor to be given a platform to actually engage with you, especially with this very important topic, which is funding. So what I have done is that I've been doing a lot of research. I've spoken to numerous funding agencies, and I also applied funding myself, and I received it. So I actually tested, and I've also helped a couple of companies to access funding. Every year, there is more than 25 billion which is available for entrepreneurs, but most of them they lack when it comes to the application process. So 90%, 90% is getting all your documents ready, and 10% is actually filling up the application form. So a lot of entrepreneurs get disencouraged when it comes to the requirements, when it comes to letters of intent, business plan, and when they see the figures of a business plan, because they're quite expensive. The cheapest that you can get would be around 6,000. They really struggle to access funding because of their documentation, and they don't know which funding agencies they should be going to, or whether they are applying for a grant or equity or from a private investor. So I always advise my entrepreneurs or people that are looking for funding, what type of funding are you looking for and which industry it is, because each and every industry in South Africa actually has a funding agency that is actually contributing within that sector. So I always encourage to find out which industry you are on. So yeah, when you see on the book, this is actually the book that I've written, SME Kit to Access Funding, to actually assist and guide entrepreneurs. So this book is like more of your navigator. So if you are looking to go to Sandton and you don't know the place, you put on your GPS and it kind of directs you to get to that place that you want, or your destination. So this book is a perfect place to start, especially if you're looking to funding, to understand what are the requirements needed to funding. So that's the most important part. Can you move the presentation down, please? Can you move the presentation? Oh, yes. All right. So what I'm going to talk to you is, as you mentioned, Chair, you did say that a lot of small businesses are really struggling to access funding, and some of them, they don't have the knowledge on how to access funding in South Africa. Some of them, the questions that I also cover in this, how to access funding, how to plan for an application, and how to prepare for your business funding, and which government grants are out there. Most of government entities, they do publish the funding grants that are available within the sector. They would choose a sector that we are looking to focus in manufacturing, and these are the funds that are available. So if you are in manufacturing and you don't know, and you don't Google, and you don't go online to find all the fundings that are needed for manufacturing, then it becomes a challenge. So with our expertise, that's what we do. We sit down, we look at all the opportunities that are available, and we identify companies that are actually looking for funding and that are looking to grow or access the funding, by providing them with that information and all the requirements that is needed. And obviously all those things are available on the book to actually assist entrepreneurs to access funding. Can you load down the presentation, please? The presentation. Okay. Okay. Can you load down again? All right. So now what? So let's start. Let's start from the beginning. What do you need for your business? You need to be clear on why you need the funding, and which approach you are going to do in actually to access funding. What are the different types of funding for business? Okay, so we're going to look at the different types of funding that you as a person, as a business, are looking to get funding. We're going to start with personal savings. As an individual, you can also fund for your business. I know a lot of people on the panel have already
token some couple of capital within themselves to fund for the business. And yeah, most people take money from themselves to fund the business. I've also funded a couple of businesses with my savings. Families and friends. When you tell your friends about your funding, some people ask money from their family, from their families, so and friends to say, this is the new business that I have, and can you guys assist me with funding? The other one would be crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is a group of people that donate a couple of money to assist a certain company to access funding. That's another alternative that you can look at, and also advertise on the internet to assist people to donate for that particular project that you are looking for. That's another avenue for looking for funding. An angel investor. So these angel investors are people who are looking for equity within the business. So if they're giving you 100,000 or 200,000 or 500,000, they would then discuss with you within equity within the business and seeing how they can assist you to grow the business. And obviously all these things and all the angel investors, I've listed all of them within the book for those who are interested to find out who are these angel investors. I've listed a couple of companies that you can contact with depending on the industry that you are in. Venture capitalists. I know a lot of people have heard about venture capitalists. It's a group of people that have money, and considering the project that you have, they want also to be part of the business. If you don't have a certain skill, they plot you with someone who has a certain skill to actually help you and grow your business. Another way is bank loans. So a lot of people, when it comes to thinking about bank loans, they're kind of stuck, because with bank loans you get to have a surety. If you aren't able to pay back the loan, there's something that they're gonna hold you on to be able. So you have to have property and said. So a lot of people, when they think of going to the bank, then that becomes they're actually doubtful to say, nah, it's going to be a problem because I don't have a surety. Yeah, can you please move the slide down? The slide, please. All right. Who can fund your business? So I've listed all the people that can fund your business depending on the size of the business. We are looking in terms of government. So it's about 20 people. I know a lot of people, funding is an issue that we aren't able to access funding. But now I have demonstrated all the funding agencies that you are able to fund if your documentation is proper. We are looking from government grants, government loans, commercial banks, and we're looking for your IDC, NYDA, NEF, CIFA. I know a lot of people, when it comes to these agencies, they've faced a lot of challenges, and as the facilitator, Rev Glenn has mentioned it, it is actually a blocking state, which they give you so many documentation that you need to fill, and it becomes a red tape for a lot of entrepreneurs to actually access that funding. And sometimes it gets to a point where you need to have a connection inside to be able to access the funding. And it's really a challenge that I've also faced when we engage with these people from the CFA, your IDC. They promise you that, yeah, we are able to give you this funding that's available. But when you go through the process, there's a lot of challenges and stumble that you have to go through. I also believe that some of the agencies were just set up for certain people, and that's the view of a lot of entrepreneurs. That's how I feel it. So that's a challenge. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. As much as I'm within the industry of accessing funding, we are really struggling to access funding on the government grant, on the government side, especially with the entities. Even if you have most of the compliant documents, it's a stumbling block which government has to deepen looking to that. That's a very challenge. I won't lie to you guys. Following that route is very challenging, especially on grants. you really have to have someone that is able to assist you within the inside. And I feel that is a challenging one. So, but I've listed them down. There has been successful stories within other people that have access funding there, and there has also been failures within the sector, especially looking for funding within government. Can you please lower the slide? The slide. Yeah. All right. What must you do if you have, what must you have as a business? All right. So it's important to have credible experience. So this is a very key, especially when you are about to access funding. So if you are going to any agency and you are requesting funding, the first thing they're going to ask is, do you have the knowledge how of the product that you are looking funding for? If, for instance, you are looking funding to set up your a pharmacy, are you a doctor? Do you know about pills? Do you know how to purchase pills? Are you within that sector? Is there someone within your partner or your board member that has the skill within your business sector? That is a very, 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 very crucial for people to have credible knowledge about their business within their partners and the people that they partnered. So that's the very important when you're going to access funding, because those questions will come across. It's also it's also to have the experience that you are 100% within the business, especially if you are looking for funding. They want to know, are you there within the business, and are you always 24/7? The last thing is that buying consumers, selling your products or service period to your launch is always a great strategy. If you cannot do it, you may not be ready. So if you have a product, you need to make sure that, first of all, if I'm going to say I'm looking for funding to for my pharmacy, I need to make sure that the area that I am with and the research that those people are able to purchase my medication. That's the key point. You need to make sure that you have consumers that will buy the product, because there's no funder who's going to give someone money and know that the money is not going to come back. So they're going to make sure that the industry that you are within, does it have consumers? And most of the funders, they prefer to fund within the industry. If you are looking to buy a farm, you go to Land Bank. They have experience. And most of investors, they invest in something they have experience in, and they 100% know that their money will definitely come back. So yeah, so you need you need to have experience, resources, consumers, and a model in order to travel the step ladder to access funding. Yeah, can I have the presentation? Presentation down. Okay, how do you know if your business is ready for funding or not? All right, so number one. Okay, number one, I know a lot of you are experiencing this. If you have ever requested for funding, the first thing they ask you is that complete business plan. That's the first thing that you need to have, because a business plan is like the navigator to the funder. So the funder would look at this document and say that I'm looking to open a pharmacy, and that document has to have all the details that this person is able to open a pharmacy. Number one would be the market research. Have you done the research that this business is viable and it will be able to make money? So the research is very, very, very important when you are getting ready to access funding, and it's part and parcel of the business plan. Your financial model. What financial model do you have? So in the business plan, there's things called ratios, which is very, very key. And investors, the first thing they look into is the ratios to see that this person, if he says he's looking for 5 million, is he be able to pay back that 5 million? And the ratios identify whether your business plan is able to make money or not. So that's the most important. Your financial module is very, very key on the business plan. Potential consumers. If you are saying that your business will be successful, do you have the consumers that will be able to buy the product? It's very, very important to have that in the business plan, and that will determine whether you're ready to access funding. And you also have your reliability and existing investment. Have you been part of existing investment? It means, have you been part of the business? Have you have you started a small pharmacy? Perhaps have you products which or contacts that you have that will assist you to be able to sell those consumers? And your brand and marketing, we know that is very key. We always speak about brand and marketing, that how are you going to develop, how in the market, how are you going to present yourself to the market, and how are you going to sell your product? That's very key. So this is important: complete business plan, market research, financial model, potential consumers, reliability, existing investment, and brand. These are the key things that will identify you whether you're ready to access funding. Can you lower the slide, please? All right. Where to look for funding? There are a few more ways to raise funding for your business. However, this might not work for everyone. Still check them out if you are really looking for business. So now that I've mentioned to you guys that there's different ways to access funding. So let's get in detailed. What are we talking about accessing to funding? So there is product pre-selling. So if you have a brilliant idea and you are looking for investment, let's make an example like Tesla, the guy that is selling Tesla. So in order to get your Tesla, you ought to pay a deposit before you can access or buy the Tesla. You ought to pay money before you can get it, because there is a database, or people, they build your car once you have paid a deposit in order. So that's product pre-selling. So you get the money first and you are able to develop the product. So those are other ways that you can raise funding for your business. Credit card. I know a lot of people have black cards. There was another form of raising funding for your business, that you are able to get money from the bank as a credit card and invest within your business and generate money and able to pay that, even if we know that there's interests that are involved. And then we have an angel investor. So these are this is a wealthy person that has money and is able to invest within your business and expects some equity for him. And then private equity. So this is a third party investor that can come within board to also come in and invest in your business. And we also have impact investors. So impact investors is invest in companies that will offer social or environment as well as financial returns. So if your business is within social, improving communities, assisting communities, we call those people that really pop in the money impact investors. And also assisting based funding. It's a collaboration. It can also become a loan, or certain people that can also assist you to get funding. Home equity loans. So if you do have a house and you're almost about to finish paying that house and you're really looking to access funding, you can use that home loan to actually invest in your company. You don't really have to actually go to all these institutions, but after all, these people that can, or have places or have homes that they can use that to access funding. Yeah, can you please lower the slide? Know what funders want to know. Yeah.
Sammy, please, because I inboxed you there, And I want also,
Okay.
while you are talking, to be sending in
Yes.
the questions and comments, because we are running out of time, and we are interested in the program, but I know that we have, but we want, because we may not have time just for people to be coming in and send in questions and comments. Please, we want to pass a message to everyone, to post your please post your questions and comments on the other side. So Sammy, please try to wrap it up so that we allow other speakers as well. Thank you.
All right. Okay. No, I'm gonna try my best to wrap it within 2 minutes. Okay. So it's important. So as we see in the slide, I think what I can do, Pastor Glenn, is that I can share the slide with the panel, with the listeners. I can share the slide with them so that they can go through it. Né? But yeah, so these are, as you see on the side, these are the things that are needed from the funders. You need to know what the funders need. So these are the things that are listed on the presentation. Can you go down on the presentation, please? Go down on the presentation. All right. So you need to know yourself and prepare yourself for funding. So these are the things that are mentioned there in detail, what is needed for one to access funding, as one can see on the presentation. And I'll be happy to share with the members so that they are able to go through them. Can you go down on the presentation again, please? Okay, so grant funding. A lot of people want to understand what is grant funding and how do you access funding. Can you go down on the slide? Okay, so grant funding is to assist businesses to develop businesses in the idea that if the business grows, these people is able to employ are able to employ people to access the job market. So when government gives grants, it's hoping that your business is able to employ. So whenever you apply for any grant, it has to state how many people you are going to employ and how much people you're going to develop. So it's another topic for another day where we can engage with the listeners in terms of grant funding. Can we move down on the slide, please? Okay. So general critical to access funding. So these are the criteria that is needed for one to access funding. I know a lot of people have come across this, the ones that are looking to access funding, and depending on how much you're looking, there's gonna be they're gonna need proof if you are looking for a lot of money in terms of your turnover, have you been paying tax and all the documents. So these are the documents that are needed, critical documents, especially if you are looking for funding. We can move the slide. Okay, so enterprise development funding. So as Kulani Growth, that's what we're focusing. So we as Kulani Growth, as BE, I know it has been painted in a bad way, but BE is the most fantastic thing that has been developed, where businesses have to contribute to small businesses and to developed businesses. So with BE, it requires big corporates. So if in manufacturing, you can partner with a big company that's within manufacturing. It's either they give you financial, they give you the knowledge on how to continue the business, or they give you the finance, or they give you the resources to help you to assist the business. However they do it, once they assist you, they get BE points. So this is where enterprise development, where we match a small business with a big corporate and assist the two to help each other, whether it's financial or resources to get funding within that. And obviously when you just go through this the presentation and get more. We can go down on the presentation. Okay, now that you know the basics of access funding, you can also get a copy of the book. An ebook is 150, and the physical book, you can go down on the slide. Yeah, so the physical book is 250. So yeah, so for those who are interested and want to access the book, they want the ebook or they want the physical, they can contact me. These are the details. And if you're also looking for funding and there's certain things you want us to assist you with, we are very open to sit down and communicate with you. Thank you very much for your time, for listening for my presentation. And yeah, I'm looking forward for a question and answers if people are looking to have any questions they would like to ask.
Thank you so much, Sammy Mok. You know, I also want to say that please also use the chat, post your contact details there right now, so that as we go along, people will take your contacts before the platform is flooded with questions. And so I want to say that I also find your presentation very relevant, especially when we are having Siyabonga, because now I want to see these are intelligent black fellows here. One brings in the funding or solutions to this critical question or question on funding. And here is Siyabonga coming in saying, I come in to prepare you and to help you to be ready skills wise, but of course, when that person is ready, after skill development is gone through training and whatever, they need funding to start. And I'm more interested in those kind of funding to say, because I saw that you were saying 250,000 turnover to wherever, but we have our fellows who do not have that 250 as yet, but some of them have all the experience and they needed to just polish their experience and have a document to prove. And that's why they went to Siyabonga. And Siyabonga goes and helps them to polish their skill and get ready to treat different people, and give and offer their services to different caliber of people. Now they say, we want to start. Somebody comes from somewhere in Africa, and this is not a place where we're really criticizing. We are not criticizing fellow Africans coming in, but we are saying we have our own here. We have our own here who are not able to access that space. And I really want Siyabonga to help us there and show us how, after they are ready on his side, how can he pass them over to Sammy, and Sammy prepares or assists them in funding and access to funding. I find the two very, very relevant, and I believe that this will be an e-dialogue that will bring in solutions to problems that are faced by our fellows. Siyabonga, please, over to you. Is Siyabonga here? Let me see here if I'm able to see him. Somebody should help me. Let's check is he connected. Are we having an issue with